Tim, open there. What are we in the afternoon? Here we are. Good afternoon. Welcome here to another Kerfuffle showcase. Delighted today to have James Kent. James, hi there from Safe2. How are you?
Hi, how's it going? Yeah, very well, very well. All good here.
You're looking in a very tight office there. I think is that all? You're all socially safe and everything there.
That's it. Yeah, this is where the magic happens. So yeah, for sure.
Well, all imagine that's what we want to hear. Great stuff. Could you just give us an overview there, James? Then just a little bit about sort of the core business of what Safe2 is about.
Sure, absolutely. So yeah, we are a like an online property safety certificate management system. We deal with any of the certificates that landlords and letting agents might need. So whether it's gas, electric, EPC, fire risk assessments if it's HMO, the smoke alarms. We have approved trades that will go and get the jobs done for us. So we just made it super simple for them. It's a one-click order for anyone that needs it. And we use our own, like I said, approved guys that will just go ahead and get it done.
Excellent. And what's the history of the company? Where have you come from?
So the background of us is actually I'm a gas engineer by trade. So I've done my fair share of gas safety certificates. And we just saw there was a gap in there. It's an old sluggish way of ordering it. So, you know, the letting agent have to phone the guys, try and arrange with the tenants, and we try and take that away from them. So we created the software just for that to make it a little bit easier for everybody. I've partnered with a software developer. So everything you see on our website, everything you see on the portal is all built in-house, in by us. That's ever evolving, ever changing. Yeah, we started about a couple of years ago. To say that we're on version 15 of the software is probably quite generous. We are always evolving it, and it's only been the last sort of 12 months that we've had what you see, and we've pushed it as far as we can. So yeah, it was so far so good.
Well, you don't have to apologise about that. If Gmail can stay as a beta for 5 years, you're still given a bit of time. Anyway, what I find interesting about that, though, James, is that you're one of those businesses that hasn't been born out of an ivory tower. Not that there's anything wrong with, great techies coming at this, but yours has literally come from the coalface, hasn't it? You've seen the way the business is done, and you've actually learned from that and come up solutions with it.
Yeah, exactly that. So yeah, being a gas engineer, being in the trade, I know exactly what is required, what's needed. I'm also a landlord, so I can see it from both ends of the both points of view. And teaming up, like I said, with the software engineer, it's the best of both worlds. So we got the technical information from me and what he's doing, and we got the other side of it for the software. So it's a perfect partnership.
And talk us through why it's so important there. I mean, obviously these things need to happen. Well, what's the downside of doing all this wrong?
The downside, well, I think that's something that people forget about. In that, gas safety, they think it's just a normal, or the electric, they try to get away with it. But fires, insurance, void, it's the possibilities are endless of what could be, but we try and cross. So by knowing what the property needs, is what I'm trying to say, is that we make sure that there is no ifs or buts, or what if this or what if that. That by using us, everything's done, everything's certified, and you've done what you need to do.
Yeah, so big tick in the box in obviously what is still an absolutely vital area. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
And what do you do? What does Safe2 do that others don't? What's your USP?
Well, we like to say that we know exactly what we're doing when it comes to the certificates. We specialize just in the certificates. So no matter what the property is, we know exactly what certificates need doing. Our USP are the one-click order. So as I said, so you create your online portal, you have an address portal for each property. It's just one click. If you need a gas, it's click, boom, it's done. We have an automatic renew system, so you can click it to auto renew and forget about it, no problem at all. And our biggest selling point for the landlords, we offer a monthly payment. So when it comes to the property, we offer a fixed monthly fee, and we'll just go ahead, get all your certificates done for you, keep them valid and every year, all year round, and that there's no problem there.
Big fan of the one click, of course. Anything
Yeah.
that can be done, anything that can be done to obviously reduce that time through has got to be a godsend. And what would you say is this a literally a product for all agents by definition, or do you have a target audience?
Anyone and everyone. If you have a property, you can use this. I know that everybody has their their best friend Dave, the plumber, will come around and do a gas safety, for example. But we try and not only give them the best price, but just make the convenience. When I say one click order, it literally is a one click and it's done. And the whole other process is down to us. We'll contact the tenant, we contact the trades, we contact everybody and put them together and marry it up and get the certificate done and then present it to you as a PDF on your portal. So anybody that has a certificate that needs doing can benefit from our system.
You mentioned kind of half jokingly there, getting your mate round and everything else there. But one of the real challenges out there is just trying to find these handymen, these talented handymen, because I don't know what the apprentice schemes are doing, but they don't seem to be churning out enough quality tradesmen, do they?
Absolutely. You'll be amazed at what we've seen and come across and the questions we've been asked. But by having our approved engineers, you know that you're not just going to get some random guy or someone that isn't very good. All our trades are approved, they're vetted, we check their insurance, we check their work, we speak to them on a regular basis. They're all good guys, and we're trying to not only give you a great service, we're actually trying to raise the standards of each certificate. So it's something that we're quite proud of.
And in terms of, you spoke about that, everybody, obviously, actually, you do span across the marketplace. The pricing model in terms of how you charge yourself out there, is it just done on the more you purchase, the lower the price comes down, just literally on a normal volume, or is it a one price fits all?
As a standard price, it's one size fits all in that we don't alter the price for region. So whether you're right at the bottom of Devon or up top somewhere, it's the same price. But we are able to give discounts and partnership deals based on the volume. For example, if a landlord has 2 or 3 properties, we'd be able to help him out. But if a letting agent has 250, 300 properties, then there's definitely a percentage discount that we can give there.
Okay, cool. And you mentioned there in terms of like the scope, obviously the fact, are you nationwide? Are you focused in particular areas? How does that work for people who are potentially interested in the service?
Yeah, I mean, across the country, we're absolutely nationwide. No matter where the property is, no matter what the postcode, we have engineers that work in there. I'm going to hold my hands up, say some areas we are stronger than others, but we are actively seeking out engineers as we speak because we're getting busier and busier. No matter where the property is, we have at least, we always try and aim to have 5 to 10 engineers that we know we can count on in each service that can get the job done as quick as possible.
Cool. And what's normally the kind of the wait time for ordering somebody? How does that work? What are you looking at? And is it standard across the country, or does it deviate?
Well, we always say that we aim to get from the point of order to the point of upload is 7 days. So within that 7 days, you get a one click order all the way through to the certificate being uploaded onto your account. At the moment, we're saying that 90% of the time we can meet that, but when it comes to electrical certificate, obviously with the new regs, it is very busy out there. All trades are very busy, but electricians are particularly busy at the minute. So there is a day or two. We ask for a day or two grace just to try and get that in.
Okay, well, I mean, still, it strikes me as that's a really, really tight timeline, isn't it? They're certainly not going to be hanging around waiting for at least your elements of the whole transaction. So that's great. What you mentioned there, the new regs. Could you talk for those people that aren't aware? Hopefully, should be aware. Just give us an idea about what those new regs are and obviously what impact that's having. I'm guessing it's, as you've just highlighted there, that is impacting again on the supply side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. So as of I think it was the 1st of July this year, so any new tenancies required an EICR, so the electrical installation condition report, whether it's a private let. Used to only be HMOs, but now it's just across the board rental properties. I think sort of middle of next year it comes from existing tenancies as well. The I mean, it's brilliant in that I think it's been a long time coming, and it's definitely needed. When a family home should have the electrical condition report just to try and see what the safety of the electrics are. The issue we're having at the minute is not only the electricians being busy, but properties that have had no electrical condition report, no electrical inspections at all, or any work on them for 20-25 years. We're now coming back, and we're having they're failing the certificate, and there's work being needed to be done because, like I said, no electrical work in 20-25 years. It's now, it needs to be brought up to standard, which is a good thing in the long run. But yeah, so it's just not only doing the certificate, it's trying to cover the remedial works for it as well.
Okay, and are there averages that you can say when there is that remedial work, how often that normally happens, or is it literally it just depends on each case?
It does depend on each case. Yeah, I would hate to give a percentage because, I wouldn't say we're not looking for it. And it when it comes to an electrical, it was always down. There is a guideline to follow, but it does come down to the electrician's opinion as well. But I would have said at the moment there's at least 30%, if not a little bit more, that are failing and needing a new consumer unit or a little bit of extra work for it.
Okay, so we're looking at this as neutrally as you possibly can do. Why do you think landlords and indeed letting agents need to use you?
Neutrally, because the process of ordering and completing the certificates is completely outdated. I mentioned before that, for example, on a letting agent, we need to phone Dave the plumber to, Dave, we've got a gas safe certificate. When can you do it? Can you pick up the keys and contact the tenant? The whole thing is sluggish, slow, and it just needs updating. So we've done exactly that. We've modernized it, streamlined the whole process, and then one click order, nice and simple. You're getting a good job. You're getting a good guy, and it's going to be done super quick. So even from an outside point of view looking in, it's a brilliant software, a brilliant system, and it's there and designed to help everybody. Like I said, I've seen it from both sides of view, from the being of the trades and being a landlord. This is a phenomenal way of ordering your certificates.
And you say there the landlords themselves are impressed with the service. You get feedback on that direct from them as well, yeah? Yeah,
absolutely. Landlords love it. They love the fact that we can take away, certificates for landlords can be an absolute headache. So they love the fact that we take that away from them. The monthly subscription is particularly good for landlords. They do like that. Again, it's just a one payment, one monthly fee. They know where they stand. There's no big bills. There's no 3 months of nothing and then a big bill at the end. It's just a monthly payment, and that the certificates are always done and always in date.
Cool. And look, obviously the whole lockdown and the whole Corona thing is it businesses across the board. How did it impact on you and your clients, and how were you able to sort of pivot to change it? I'm guessing obviously if you've got tradesmen out there, safety is even more prominent for you than it is many industries, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We struggled with, so I mentioned about engineers accessing property. So, a gas certificate will be ordered, but because of self-isolation or any kind of illness, the engineer would struggle to get into the property. And standard landlord and letting agent thing is to leave everything to the last minute. So the gas safety would overrun. Gas safe, I think, allowed a little bit of leeway for that, which was very helpful. Just trying to get it all done to help with the landlords and the letting agents. They were one of the reasons why they were leaving it to the last minute is that they knew there'd be a bill, they knew there'd be some sort of remedial work. So, we let letting agents and landlords order a certificate, and we send them as an invoice for the next month. So if you'd order a certificate at the beginning of 1 month, you wouldn't get the invoice to the beginning of the following month, and you would have 30 days to pay that. So there is a potential for 60 days sort of credit there, so to try and help us spread the cost as best we can.
So great, you responded there. Obviously, agents were in need of that little bit of extra help, wasn't it, in cash flow, and you responded in. So that's really, really good to hear. And I'm hoping this next question, which is around integration, you're not going to you've teased me now with the one-click element. Now, obviously, that sounds fantastic. And are you able to also sort of double down on that and have integration with other systems, or is it self-compartmentalized in that you need to do it all in your system? What's happening on the integration side for you guys?
Okay, so yeah, again, we have a fantastic API that will link into anyone's system, to anyone's software. As I mentioned before, the partner, the other guy is software developer, so everything's been built in house. So the API is a universal API, but it can be amended and adjusted depending on the specific requirements of the customer. So if a certain letting agent wanted it to do different things, or we can white label something for them and just have us behind, that can all be done. Our API will grab the information needed and put it onto us and then send it back. So that's one of our best features, in that we can completely link, completely integrate with any software, any other system, any other website. So we can just have that there for even better customer service.
That's really slick, though. So to obviously, as a traditional business as you kind of are, but you've thought about how that fits still into a tech stack element there. Obviously, great. You've obviously got the API as well that facilitates that transfer of information on there. So one thing I didn't just catch on there, is it ready to kind of go, the API, or are you already integrated with some systems?
Yeah, no, it's ready to go. We've integrated with 1 or 2 other letting agents right now. We're in talks with a lot of other people as well. It's definitely something that's people are interested in, because it just makes everything easier, and it's from A to Z for the customer. They can order from their website. They haven't had to detour from their software at all. They can order our certificates from their website. And that's definitely something that people are interested in.
And I say, you don't charge for that API service. That's open for anybody to.
Completely free, yeah, absolutely. And I didn't mention that. Yeah, everything is completely free. Whether you're a trade using the site, it's free to use. Whether you're a letting agent or a landlord, everything's free. It's completely free to use. You sign up, it's all free. Order your certificates. You're only charged for the certificates that you ordered.
Excellent, brilliant. And what makes your engineers approved? What's the process that they have to go through?
Well, I touched on it earlier in that said we meet with them, we speak with them, we get reference from them, we check their registration number against the Gas Safe or NOC. We are in regular contact with them. We're in regular contact with the customers that they've been to, try and get as much feedback as possible. In no way are we restricting them at all, but we just want to make sure, because they are engineers in their own right, they have their own companies, but they are the face of Safe2. We only work on them, so we want to make sure that we send the good guys around and they're doing a good job.
Okay, cool. And you mentioned there that a lot of this came really from your own background. Do you want to just give us that background again, just so that people understand, you're putting your money where your mouth is on this, aren't you?
Yeah, so gas engineer background, landlord background. I've seen it from both sides of the view. I've been the customer ordering the electrical certificate, and the landlord of my properties, and I've been the gas engineer performing the gas safety certificates on the properties. So I've been involved in the whole process, knowing that it needs some sort of streamlining, and we've done that. The whole thing, and being involved in the software side of it as well, which just means everything is perfect for everybody involved.
Cool. And what was the problem when you set out? What was the problem in your head that you were trying to fix for agents here? Obviously, you spoke about the one-click nature of it. Was it the use and access, or were there other aspects that you were trying to sort out as well?
It is the user aspect. So yeah, one of the best feedbacks we've had about ours is that the user ability of it is very simple, very easy to use, and that's great. And that was always the aim that we were going for. It's the whole process, the sluggish of the letting agents realizing gas safety is due. They need to phone the plumber. When can you do it? They're phoning the tenants. They're trying to be the middleman, and we take that away from them. All they need to do is just say, I keep mentioning it, the one click, but the rest of it is down to us. So we talk to the tenant, we talk to the trades, we marry them together, we get the certificate and we present it to them. It's just very slow. It takes, for a letting agent, if they manage 50 properties or 100 properties, there's a lot of certificates there that needs constant renewing, and that and there's somebody's almost a full-time job arranging it, uploading it, and giving it to the landlord, not to mention all the remedial work they would need doing. So that could we take that, we take the complete process away and streamline the whole thing.
What's the biggest challenge for you as a business at the moment? Then, what stops you doing, in your daily job? You obviously you hope it's as vanilla as it can be, but what are the main challenges you come up against?
As a business, the main challenges is being known. If I'm honest, people and breaking people's routine. We've spoken to letting agents and landlords, and they love it, and they go off. Then 4 months later, the gas safety is due, and they can't remember us, or they don't know us, and their habit is to phone the plumber and try and arrange it, or phone the electrician. So as a business, like I said, it's breaking their habit and becoming becoming known as the one-stop shop for any and all safety certificates.
Yeah, and anyone who's had any scarcity issues getting these people, of course, that's where they need to be thinking of you straight off the bat, don't they?
Exactly. I'm not giving electricians a bad name at all. There are so many good electricians out there, but as with any trade and any profession, there are some bad apples, and they may offer a cheap price, but they're looking for remedial works. They're looking for works that they can sort of bump the price up, and we try and take that away. We try and say, no, all our guys are good guys. You're going to get a good test. If they said that the work needs doing, it needs doing to be up to a standard. So we try and set a standard and make sure that everybody is there.
And in terms of the all-important price point as well, are you in that Stella Artois reassuringly expensive element, or because of your scale, are you able to still compete with the local guys? On the whole, how does it look to you when you're competing financially?
Pricing has been a sort of a pain point, really. Sam, the guy that I work with, hates it because I'm forever changing the prices, because there's that fine line of being competitive enough that people will always use us, but then we also need to pay the trades. So there's that balance. We like to say now that we are smack on where we need to be. We're not the cheapest by any means, but we're nowhere near the top. We can hold our hands up and say that we don't make much from each certificate, and that's not our aim. Our aim is just to give a good service and to raise the standards. We make pounds on each certificate. I mean, that's what we want, and we just trying to make a little out of a lot rather than a lot out of little. So that's
but you can go to bed at night sleeping easy that you've got a quality service at least.
It's a quality service at a good price. People ask us, how can you charge so little, and get other people to do it? And it's exactly that. We're not trying to steal or rob anyone. We're not taking money off anybody. We're giving it a good service for a good price.
Yeah, perfect. And could you just give us a bit of background as well, what the Safe to Rent certificate's all about?
Yeah. So the Safe to Rent certificate was designed to give landlords and letting agents a reassurance that all the certificates required for that property has been done. So a lot of landlords may not be aware, for example, smoke detectors. They should really be inspected and certified by a competent person at least once a year. If it's a HMO, every 6 months. But that's something that is kind of not forgotten about, but looked over. And obviously, that's the first port of call. A smoke alarm, when it's a fire, that's the first port of call. So the Safe to Rent certificate has been designed to make sure all certificates are done. So it is, the gas is always valid, the electrical certificate is always valid, the EPC as well is always valid, and the smoke detector every year is done from us to make sure you have a certificate to say, yeah, it was checked this year. Similar to a gas safety certificate. So you have all of those, and we know they're all valid. So you have your Safe to Rent certificate.
So is that about you being proactive with those then, is it, in terms of making sure they're all actually done?
Yeah, exactly that. Like I said, not getting that bad name. Yeah, it's something that is overlooked. We do the Safe to Rent certificate for the HMOs, for example. It has the standard certificates, but it also has the extra smoke alarm, a PAT test, for example, and a fire risk assessment. Again, that's something that is overlooked, that every 12 months there should be a fire risk assessment on a HMO property. Just in case things change, tenants are moving in and out, things change, things are altered. Even if it's a once over from a qualified engineer, and that's the other thing, it's deemed to be done. A fire risk assessment is deemed to be done by somebody competent, and if you deem yourself competent, then you can go ahead and get it done. But it's it's the old saying of, if it hits the fan, you need to be able to show that it was actually done by a qualified engineer, and all of our engineers are qualified. So every 12 months we would send a fire risk assessor in there, and that's part of the Safe2 Rent certificate service. So no matter what the property is, we know all the certificates and all the requirements of that specific property, and we make sure the Safe2 Rent certificate covers all of the certificates that is needed.
I love that idea, though, about just being able to outsource, let's face it, for what is a headache for many agents, though, just be able to think about, look, we don't need to worry about that anymore because you guys have got that covered for us, and, ticking all those boxes there, just we can get on with our day-to-day jobs. That's what services like yours do at their very best, isn't it, James?
Exactly that. Yeah. It's nothing. It's nothing unique. There's nothing no special. It's just we take something that is a headache for people and we make it our headache.
Yeah, well, that's perfect. And anything you can do on that front. And how long is that a relatively new thing? Have you been doing it a while? What's the take up been like?
Yeah, so like I said, we're about 2 years old, but yeah, like I said, we're on different versions now. For the last sort of 12 to 18 months is where we're really pushing it. As I mentioned before, it's quite tricky to get. It's breaking the mold, and it's also getting known. We've had landlords use the Safe2 Rent certificate service, have the Safe2 Rent certificate, and present it to the letting agent, saying, "This is my Safe2 Rent certificate," and they've gone, "Oh, what's this?" And so it's just knowing if that Safe2 Rent certificate, if they could just hear that Safe2 Rent certificate and know that means that we've approved it, or we've approved that all the certificates required are in date, are valid, and are good certificates, then we're good to go.
That's wonderful, isn't it? When you get into that world where some of your consumers actually turn into your de facto sales force, you're cracking something right. But I think the key thing is that they wouldn't be doing that unless they saw real value in it. And if again your lettings agency clients can see this as a benefit and can actually use that as part of their pitch, you are going to cement and lock down that responsible landlord, demographic, aren't you? Pretty easily, I'd have thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have one of the biggest fans of the Safe2 Rent certificate is universities. So if a university, they have their landlords that are allowed to upload their properties to rent on their own website, they have to individually check all the certificates, and that's a manual process. So we work with a couple of universities now that love the Safe2 Rent certificate because they only have to check the one certificate. They see the Safe2 Rent certificate, they see it's in date, and they know that we have checked all the other certificates. So it takes away the a manual process of having to find the gas safety, see the electrical safety, EPC, see them all, and manually check it. Well, you've only got one certificate to check, so they much prefer that.
Yeah, obviously. We've got just as a point here for Matt. Hello, Matt. Good to see you. Looking resplendent in your flat cap there. I guess some agents want to be able to maintain the relationship with their tenants and landlords direct and want to book the certs in themselves with their clients. But still, this sounds great and will save so much work. So there's a man who knows what he's talking about there. Great. Yeah, and in terms of the, obviously, I think we know your 5-star reviewed on our own Kerfuffle website. Are you equally well reviewed out there in the wider market with things like Facebook and Google? Is does the feedback come back for you as a business?
Yeah, absolutely. The feedback is always brilliant, and one of the things that I like to say that we're pretty top on is customer service. So once you book from the second you've one-clicked ordered, we've let you know, right, okay, it's been ordered, we're already on it. And then once an engineer's booked it, we've already let them know, right, it's been booked for this date, we're all good to go. Once it's been completed, right, your certificate's been completed, it'll be uploaded soon. And then again, the final notification saying that your certificate is all good to go, it's passed, and it's on your website, ready to download the PDF. But on that, equally, if it's failed, we send them a notification to say, look, the certificate hasn't quite met our safety standards and required a little bit of action. And then again, that's presented onto their website, but along with the quote that they can either accept or not accept and find other work for the certificate.
And we were talking there about Safe to Rent, but you've also got Safe to Buy. So I'm guessing this just fits on the other side. Could you just elaborate on that as well?
Yeah, so the Safe to Buy certificate is actually where it all started, but the Safe to Buy certificate is for home buyers and landlords as well if they're looking to buy the house to then rent out afterwards. So we found a little gap in the market in that, not taking away what surveyors do, but if you're a home buyer and you're getting a surveyor around, they will have a look at the gas, the electrics, and the drains, but they won't certify them because they're not qualified to do so. And I've never read a surveyor's report that doesn't recommend getting these inspections done unless they can see certification. And we just try to be that. So don't go find an electrical engineer, don't go find a gas engineer. Come to us. We'll give you a Safe to Buy certificate. We'll check your gas. We'll check your electrics, all certified. We'll put a camera down the drains, make sure they're all good for water flow. We'll give you an appliance condition report, an overall of the property, and then you know exactly what you're buying is fit for purpose, sort of thing.
Excellent. And you mentioned, you were talking there about, you put a lot of stock, obviously, in terms of how you manage to support your agency clients, the lettings agency clients there. And just talk to us, what's the process for onboarding? Is it relatively painless? Is it a quick process? How does that work?
Signing up, do you mean?
Yeah, just signing up and getting on board with you guys. Is it literally a case of filling in some paperwork and then you're ready to go, or does it need more than that?
Yeah, no, it can be easier. Again, the whole point of it is to not be time consuming. So the sign up, the actual creating an account would take minutes. I mean, probably 2 minutes. Name, company name and address, boom, you're in. Simple as that. The only tedious thing would be the address uploading, only because we need a certain amount of detail. So we do need to know, obviously, the address of the property, but we need to know how many gas appliances it has, because our price is dependent on the gas. So we're given a gas price for one appliance and a gas price for two appliances. Our EICRs are based on bedrooms, so we need to know how many bedrooms there are. We need to know if it's a HMO, and if it is a HMO, does it have emergency lighting? Those little things there can take a little bit of time, but we have a process from our end. If you want to email it to us in a spreadsheet, we can do that for you. We can literally just drag and drop, make it so it's easily uploaded. So it takes away the hassle. So you create your account, you give us your property details, we'll upload them for you, and next time you log on, it'll all be there. And like I said, the usability of it is, you sign on, you have a list of your properties, you click your property, you then call it a sub portal, property portal, and it has a list of services, certificates that you can order. Click, done, and that's where it's uploaded.
Okay, cool. We've got I don't know whether this is a fan club thing going on, but we've got Emmeline saying hi, and we've got saying hi, James. Now, I don't know if the team are flirting or whatever's going on, or whether they're just genuinely being nice here, but I'll leave it to you. If we're talking, I mean, one thing that just strikes me there is, if you're looking for the bedroom information there, is, have you spoken to the guys at Sprift as well? Because they actually have that information, as far as I know, quite a comprehensive database of the bedrooms.
Yeah. Sorry. So someone has mentioned this before. It's something that we have on our list, but yeah, we haven't quite spoken with them. But it would make make our life a lot easier, and the customers, because it's like I said, it's a tedious way to sign up. So if we could have that information, pre-hand, then it would make a lot of sense.
Just remember, it was a kerfuffle referral, but I won't.
Right down there. There you go.
Can you talk about the biggest challenge, just in terms of looking to wind it up, but just in terms of, again, you say your challenge is awareness. We hear this a lot. Some of the some really key elements to the service that for agents, and it really is just about awareness. What's the attention grabber though for those agents? Again, would you say is it the one-stop shop elements of it? Is it the ease of use? Just as a final sort of shout out to those people, why should they come to you?
Yeah, well, you said it. It's the one-click order. It's the one-stop shop. You don't need multiple suppliers. We've all got everything. It's the integration. If you have the capability for it, it's you're getting a good service. And someone once said about, you're taking work away from the local guys. If anything, we're giving work to the local guys. So we're not taking work away from anyone. So overall, it's a brilliant service that takes countless hours away from letting agents and landlords of organizing their own properties. That we take that time away and we do it for them. So that's
I think that's really succinct. Have you one thing that I always like to just put people back on the back foot for, because it's now not me sat in your seat doing it. Have you been able to quantify that saving at all in terms of the ROI saving? Because that would be really an interesting, to start looking at what averages you're saving in terms of that admin time.
Yeah, so we actually do have an estimate. So we have a partner deck that we can send, that we can look at, that we've done that just for letting agents, and we've taken an average of whether it's 100, 500 or 1,000 properties that they manage. I know it's a lot of the bigger sort of online letting agents that would have the bigger numbers, but we've broken it down into hours, arranging certificates, hours, talking to tenants. We've broken that down, and we've said how much time it would be saving. So if anybody does want this, then I'd fire it away as much as I can.
Anyone get in contact, obviously, as usual, go to the Safe2 landing page on there. You can see more information. You can see the top reviews for you. Yeah, one thing we're trying to encourage suppliers more and more is, if you have those kind of calculators or things like that, please get them up on the website, and obviously we'll shout about them there. So we'll get the team in touch afterwards, James, and see if we can sort of help educate people on that side of things as well. So as I said, we're not shy in hanging on to people's coattails and being seen as a benefit there. And I believe actually we've spoken about, obviously, our wonderful Kerfuffle members. You've been really kind enough to come up with a special exclusive deal with these guys. Do you mind just obviously giving everyone just an overview of what that's about?
Absolutely, yeah. So if you were to sign up with through Kerfuffle, we can give you £5 back on every certificate that you've ordered. So whether it's a gas safety or an EICR, no matter what the certificate is, we give you £5 back into your account, which you can then withdraw at any time, or you can spend again on your certificate. So if it's a £45 or £55 certificate, it doesn't take long before you get a free certificate out of it. So.
So that's lovely. Yes, that's not actually. It's not like some of those schemes where you can't actually take it out. You can if you want to take it out. Yeah. But okay, great. Yeah, I thought it was one of those. No, you can't touch it. So.
No, you sit back, watch it grow, and then you have a little Christmas bonus at the end of the year if you just press withdraw. So. Yeah,
that's what I said. Well, I'm all about the Christmas parties, as you know. Not because my nose looks like Rudolph. Okay, well, that's fantastic. So again, just reiterating there, anyone who's interested, please reach out to James direct on their website, or obviously go via the Kerfuffle one. There's a please inquire on there. We'll obviously happily hand over any leads there. I mean, I think from our side, I think there's one of the reviews I saw there that jumped out at me. Nadia Katus from You Move Winchester and Salisbury makes the point: website's really easy to use, from setting up properties to ordering services or downloading your certificates. Safe2 keep you and tenants, if applicable, updated throughout the whole process. Their communication is really superb, with regular progress emails, phone calls. Safe2 are really responsive with a great selection of service providers. So that's really useful there, James, because to be fair, they're backing up exactly what you said. That would have been really awkward. I only ever read these reviews at the 11th minute, and one day I'm going to read out one that's bad, but I haven't done my prep. But that's fantastic to hear that it's obviously you're getting it right and delivering on there. Well, look, we'd certainly love to obviously stay in touch with us. We'll obviously echo this out to people. It sounds like it's one of those niche areas that you really are specialising in, and people should obviously drop you a line if they can do, even if it's just a case of learning a bit more about that time-saving element there. The national spread is a fantastic thing there, and I love that idea about you being proactive and looking at it with the different certifications. So you to be applauded on that front. James, thank you very much for spending this time with us today, and please stay in contact.
Excellent. Thank you very much for having me.
Cheers. Thanks, James.